everybody. I'm so pumped for this day. I've been waiting for 2 months now. We're so pumped. So if you don't know, Tristan is the founder of Lab Coat Agents, which is one of the world's largest real estate Facebook groups with, I think it's over 115,000. Is that right?
Yeah, dude, we're the largest community of agents in the world on social media.
So Tristan and Nick started this many years ago. I jumped on when it had, I think, 10,000 agents, so it's grown a whole lot. And Tristan is probably better connected in the real estate world than anybody you can think of because he knows so many people and he's right on the very cutting edge of what's happening. So it was because of Tristan that whenever he started testing YLOPO, I was like, okay, what is this thing? Tell me all about it. And that's why, if you're a part of Chamberlain, that's why you have YLOPO, because of him and many, many other things that he has shared over the years. So I'm super thankful for him, and we're pumped to get this thing started. So the topic of today is video in your business in 2020. He has spent a lot of time with different industry leaders, and he spent a fair bit of time with Facebook themselves, and he understands the algorithms and what's about to happen in the next 5 years as far as if you're not using video, you need to be, wink, wink, okay? So Tristan is gonna walk us through a little presentation for about an hour, and then we have some guests that brought us food, so you guys wave to us. They're walking out the door. There you go. So you guys are gonna hear from them in just a minute, or at 1 o'clock, and excited you guys are here. Thanks for coming. All right, Mr. Tristan, it's all yours, bud.
All right, bro. Is it okay if I go like maybe 15 minutes to an hour, right?
You bet. Yeah.
All right, good, good, good. Tell me if everything looks good on my end and we'll get started.
Looks good.
All right, sweet. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing in the audience? Good food out there? Good view? Good? I can see you all. Nice. Except the sides. I can't see the sides. I can only see the front. Yeah. All right, well, nice to have you on. I wanted to start off by, first of all, thanking you for being here. I don't know what time it is out there, but you took some time to come out here and listen and learn. So I hope it's worth your while. If it's not, you can blame Grant. It's not my fault. All right, so let's get started. I wanted to talk to you about social media and some video tactics. We're going to go into ideas of how this works better, how social media can work better for you, and the things that you need to be doing now to take advantage of the changes that are happening and what's working best. Can everybody see that screen just to make sure that it's all good?
Yeah.
All right, good, good, good. Perfect. All right, so a few days ago, I was on Friday. Friday, I got to, I didn't want to go to these two meetings I had. One was in the morning in Santa Monica, California, and the other one was in the evening in Hollywood, California. And I personally, I hate going to meetings. I'm an introvert, and my wife always forces me to go to these things. I hate events, I hate parties. I'd just rather stay home, read a book, curl up, and learn about what's new on social or the internet. And so I had to wake up at 4:30 so I could beat the traffic to get to Santa Monica because there's a crap load of traffic in LA. So I get there, and the multi-millionaire investor that I'm meeting at this place called Luneta is late. And I'm like, great. So I'm sitting there, I order some coffee to wake up. And he finally gets here, he goes, look, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm late everywhere I go. And I'm like, hey, yeah, no problem, man, no problem. And he says, look, Tristan, I'm really sorry I'm late. It's something that I'm working on, but let's get right into it. So we sit down, he orders his food, I order my food, and then we start talking about something that he was really passionate about, and that's human motivation. And he says, let me talk to you about something I'm working on. I'm working on a book. And I'm working on these ideas that I have on what human motivation is. And I want you to listen, and I want to know what you think. And I said, sure, man, go right ahead. Tell me, talk to me. He goes, all right, well, let me start off by telling you a story. And he says, everywhere I go, I'm late. And I go, yeah, I realize that. And he said, yeah, that's funny. But he said, let me start off with a story. He goes, a while back ago, and then he pulls up his phone and he shows me a picture of himself when he was much heavier, and then a picture of now. And it's side by side. He had done this comparison. And he said, look, over here I was really heavy, and then a few years back I decided to go to boot camp. And I said, that's awesome. He said, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I learned. Here's what motivated this human motivation. And he said, I went to boot camp for the very first day, and I was late. And the instructor said, Paul, give me 50 push-ups. And he's like, I don't think I could even do 50 push-ups at the time. I think I ended up doing 30. Next day I show up, and guess what? I show up late. I'm like, oh, figures, you know. So the instructor says, Paul, give me another 50 push-ups. Third day, fourth day, he shows up late. And this time the instructor goes, Paul, give me 100 push-ups. He goes, I don't even think I got through 50. Then the fifth day, it's Friday. I show up late. He thinks about it for about 15 seconds, the instructor. And then he says, all right, everybody, stop what you're doing. Jump off of the treadmill, stop off the bike, stop everything, put the weights down. Paul is late. Paul, I want you to count out, because everyone here is going to do 50 push-ups except you. All right, go ahead. Paul, start counting. You don't do any push-ups. And he goes, that day, I was never late again to boot camp. And he goes, that was, to me, that was the power of accountability. The power of group accountability. He goes, that's part of the story I want to tell you right now. He goes, I don't even know why I share this with you, but he goes, I think it's super powerful for me, and it goes really deep into what I've become because of it. And let me share with you another story. He said, when I realized how powerful group accountability was, I had to think, well, what is it that I want to use this for? Group accountability. And he thought, well, if I could focus in, here it goes, and this is pillar number one. He said, if I could focus in on doing something that's very small and do it repeatedly, you know, what can I do at a high capacity that's very small? And he thought, and he's thinking about working out, but you can apply this to anything. He said, why can't I just do 100 push-ups a day all throughout? It doesn't have to be all at once. It could be 10 here, 10 there, or 20 at a time, or 50 at a time if I could. And he said, one of my friends is Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams is a Heisman Trophy winner, ex-football player. And he said, I called up Ricky and I go, Ricky, let's do this 100 push-up challenge that I just made a day and see how it goes for a year. And so he says, Ricky's like, okay, let's do it. And so he picked something that he could repeatedly do that would make a big difference. And two things happened, he said. I did 100 push-ups a day with Ricky Williams. And that was, we had 36,500 push-ups in a year, 36,000 push-ups. He said, Ricky Williams, after I think he said it was 8 months in, he said, Paul, why didn't I do this before? This is amazing. What's happened is, because I've been doing 100 a day, it's caused so many other things to happen. Not only am I getting stronger and fitter, but it's changing the way I do things. I'm like, well, if I can do 100 push-ups a day, why can't I do other things like go and run, or go and actually weight lift, or start a better system? What happened was this. Has anybody in the audience read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, or When You Give a Mouse a Cookie? Yeah. I need a show of hands in the front row. Anybody know? All right. Oh, good. All of you. And it reminded me of that. If you haven't seen the book, Google it. So if you give a mouse a cookie, And what happens is when you give a mouse a cookie, it starts a whole pattern, starts a whole process. And it's these little tiny habits that you start. And what happens is it starts to build on something much bigger. And that's what he's talking about with his first pillar. And so I thought, wow, that's actually pretty powerful, because he shared this. He says, look, it's the intensity in which you do the small things, and that's what matters the most. And when you couple that, second pillar, when you couple that with being accountable to a group of people that have high standards, you start breaking through and you start achieving things that you never, ever thought possible. And when you add the third pillar, which is the ability to have someone to reach out to help, which is support. The third pillar is support. All of a sudden, you grow much faster. And then the last pillar is repeat, continually repeat. So you see these 4 pillars. He outlined them. He outlined them on a napkin. As we were eating, he's eating and chewing, and food's actually spitting out of his mouth onto my plate, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. He grabs my napkin and says, let me write them out for you so you don't forget, right? I'm like, okay, this is cool. Very eccentric guy. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I actually have the napkin. I got it on Friday. I'm like, this is kind of cool. So we outlined it. He's like, yeah, that's what I'm working on. And so I want you to take that lesson for you. What I'm going to show you today are things that you can do, but you need to pick what it is that you're going to do. I make it super clear. I actually have this beautiful calendar I created. I just need you to decide what is it that you're going to do, because if you pick everything, you're going to do nothing. But if you pick one thing and you repeatedly do it every day, you start gaining momentum. You start getting clarity on what it is that you need to do to achieve it. Any questions before I start?
Good.
Nope, good. All right. Here we go. So I just looked these stats up last week, so they're very current. For those of you using TikTok, good for you. 27 million Americans are using TikTok. Not a big number, but they do have 500 million worldwide users. Most of those are in India and Asia, India and China. Next on the list up is Instagram. 116 million Americans are on there. That's a lot. It's quite a lot. And YouTube, 200 million Americans are using YouTube on a monthly basis. And of course, Facebook's number one with 250 million. And the reason I'm pointing this out to you is so that you understand where your focus needs to be, right? Obviously, Facebook and YouTube are the beasts in the group. So if you were to ask me, where should I focus? First, I say, well, where are you already on? What are you using on a daily basis? If you say, well, I'm on Facebook, great. Let's focus on Facebook because you're comfortable there. And then we can apply what you're using to Instagram, to YouTube, and then eventually to TikTok. People ask me, well, why should I even be on TikTok? It's only for 13-year-olds, right? Or 12-year-olds. Who's going to buy a house at 13? It's not that. You need to be on TikTok to understand how social media is evolving. And what happens is when you have Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat paying attention to what's happening with TikTok, eventually Facebook and Instagram and everybody else is going to start shifting as well. They're already shifting. So if you want to be ahead of the curve, you pay attention to what's popular at the time. Not because you're actually going to use it and go all in, but because you need to be aware of what's changing so you're not left behind. And that's why TikTok is important. That's why you should be looking at what's new and what's catching on, because eventually the consumer goes and it changes the consumer patterns. So a lot of people tell me, well, look, it's Zillow and Redfin and Open Door. Those are the ones we have to be careful for. Those are the ones changing our world here. And I always disagree when people tell me that. because they're not the ones changing the way that the consumer behavior is eventually going to change even more. It's Amazon. Companies as big as Amazon and Apple and Facebook, these companies that have the millions and billions of users, these companies are the companies that change the way people do things. It changes the way the consumer behaves. And so you have to be paying attention to these companies. And so today, with these four, I'd like you to focus on, if possible, all four. If not, pick the one you like. I wanted to give you the numbers so you know what's strong and so you know better. Here's some numbers from Facebook. Facebook released a report in August, 2019 August. And it's their very first report. They've never done one before. My friend Kyle wrote the report. He runs the real estate department for Facebook. And he said, look, mobile is dominant, and that's nothing new. More than 70% of people in the United States now use smartphones, and over 50% of them use a tablet. So that tells you people are consuming data or video, right? Data on their phones, on the go. And that's nothing new. And digital is essential. I thought this key was important at 89%. This was a little bit different for me, but almost 89% of US real estate agents and broker media spend will go to online ads in 2019. That's a lot. That's a lot of spend. Instead of spending it on a magazine or newspaper, digital spend is massive. And then 83% here, video is the future. Video viewers in the US today, nearly 83% of internet users use video or consume their spend time on the internet through video, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. It's video. Now, here's something that you need to take into consideration if you hadn't noticed already, but the agents that we have now, our role has changed over the last few years. We've become more of advisors because you see the consumer that when they come in, most of the time they already have the properties that they want to see. They already have an idea where they want to move to. They no longer, for the most part, no longer require us to be able to identify the right properties for them. Most of the time, they've already done it. They've already favorited them. They already know which homes they'd like to see, or at least have a better idea where they want to move based on what the research they've done online. And that's because Redfin and Zillow in our areas allow them to do so, and so do other sites. So that's how the consumer searches are. But mobile is definitely preferred, like I said before, just something that you pay attention to, because if your websites aren't mobile friendly, you're losing the consumer at that point. When they shift over from Facebook, from Instagram, for wherever, to your website that's not mobile friendly, you're gonna lose them. So with that, I wanna shift into helping you create better conversations online through video and social. And I want to start with helping you by reminding you that we're here to give value first. When it comes to the consumer or our approach, I want you to always think of this whole process that you have as a relationship, almost like you're dating. And I think we forget sometimes that when it comes to this whole process of creating the relationship from online to in person, to then creating this long-term relationship where we actually close a transaction and have them as a client, it's a long process. It's a relationship that we're building. It's almost like we're dating back and forth. And so when you think of it, if you have a spouse, if you have a partner that you love, it's continual work. And you have to give back and forth or it's not going to work. And so I want you to view this almost like a relationship in that sense, because if you don't, you start spamming people. You start telling people, hey, look what I listed. Hey, look what I sold. Hey, look, I got another client. And people don't want to hear that crap. They're tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. They want some value. Once they see that you're giving them value, then they engage. Once they engage, you engage. Talk to them, message them on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, message them back, comment. Don't just be a stalker on Facebook and Instagram where you look at everybody's pictures. I always tell people this, when you're looking on social, you go and you see everything and you're like, oh, that's cool, like, right? Oh yeah, that's like a thumbs up in person. When you see somebody, you're like, hey, that's awesome, good job, from far away. When you comment, that's like a, you know what, high five, in person, handshake, that's good, good job. A little bit more connection. But when you take the time to go outside of it and either message them or call them or text them, it's like a hug. And you're taking that deeper. And you have the opportunity to do that on social media when you see certain people going through a hardship or they just achieve something great. You have the opportunity to take it off and congratulate them outside of social media as well. But don't forget that. That's the part where you start building relationships. If you have any questions in between, go ahead and interrupt me. But this, let me see, Grant, Grant, I don't know if you can hear me, but did I send this to you, man, yet or not, so that you can print it out and give it to everybody?
Grant is here.
All right. Well, if I didn't send it to Grant, I'll send it to him so that you can have this. This I created from scratch 3 months ago when I had an intensive mastermind, for a 3-day intensive mastermind on social media in Las Vegas. And I had that one with Travis Tom. We talked all about social. And so I wanted to outline this so you could have a clear picture of what to do, what to post, whether it's video or static, pictures on your social media. And you can use this anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, and it's a process here. It goes by 4s. So I'm going to go over it with you to explain it to you. And if you have any questions, just shout out, interrupt me. I can only see the people in the front. So if you have a hand to raise, just let me know and I'll identify you. Now, the first one is teach. You see, it's teach, then sell, then you, then advice. And then it goes back to the beginning. Teach, sell, you, advice. Teach, sell, you, advice. And the reason I outlined it like this is because I saw what was working based on what Facebook was telling us. And Facebook, remember, owns Instagram as well, and WhatsApp and Messenger. And so they said, people that teach, people that speak from a place of authenticity and genuineness connect with the audience more. And so I wanted to add that in there. Teaching is more like this. If you can see the first one, it says how housing prices are determined. So you take the opportunity to make a video, 3 minutes or more, 3 to 5 minutes, where you talk about how housing prices are determined. Because a lot of people don't know that we go back 6 months and we find homes that are similar, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, same square footage, same area. And that's how we determine prices, based on amenities and so forth. Well, a lot of people don't understand that. So take the time to teach them. Pick topics like I did here to be able to go out and do this. And practice on your phone. Record it 100 times until you feel comfortable. Don't post it anywhere. Show it to your kids, show it to your husband, show it to your wife, show it to wherever until you get it right. Next is sell. This is the part that all agents are great at because I see it everywhere. Oh, here's another open house. Check me out at the open house. Look what I sold. This is easy. So this should come as no surprise, but people do this often. We just listed this home and this is my favorite feature. I'd like you to add a little bit more pizzazz to it because it's so boring just listening to most agents as they're at home. It's like, hey, this is the kitchen. Check this out. What I like to tell people, if you're going to talk about a property that you just listed, or a property that you just sold, or a client that you just helped, or whatever it is, always start with something that's exciting. So for example, for us, we just listed a home in our area and there's some special features about it. And also the seller moved there for a reason, but they love hiking. And so I start with a story. So I said, hey everyone, it's Tristan with Keller Williams Realty. And I'm at this home right now where these clients that I have, these sellers, they moved in here originally because they love the beach or they love hiking. And the hiking trails are amazing here. I mean, there are some snakes. They have stories about snakes and lions, but that's okay. And so you engage people and you start off with a story. That's how you sell. Next is you. Talk about you. People want to follow you and connect with you because they like you. And if you're always talking about business, you don't give them the opportunity to connect with you, who you are. So show them where you're eating. Show them a place that you love to eat and why it's cool there, why it's great there. Like I have a little coffee shop that I go to probably 4 times a week. It's called Ragamuffin. And there's only 2 out here. And I sit there all the time. And sometimes I take pictures and sometimes I do a quick little video. Hey guys, I'm a Ragamuffin again. I love the coffee here. It's so good. Or I love the dirty chais, or I love the chai lattes, or the donuts are great. But I'm always doing lives from there. And it's a great place. So I like to share that with people. And then number 4, advice. This circulates. You can give quotes. People love quotes, quotes about life, quotes about leadership. And you can also take the opportunity here to thank people. Taking time to thank someone on social media where you have a picture or a GIF of something that says thank you, and tagging 50 people that you're thankful for, it makes a big difference. All of a sudden, you're going to have all those 50 people commenting and liking it and saying thank you. Oh my gosh. It's one of the best things you could do on social. So then it circulates. It goes through the same process. But if you guys don't have it, I'll send it over to Grant. That way you guys don't have to take a picture of that one. And let me go to the next one here. I also created 51 social media post ideas. And this I'll also send over to Grant for you. These are obviously don't have the 51 on them. They only have, I think, 16 or so on them. I cut a couple of pages to show you just what's on there, give you a little taste. But we have the opportunity to teach our audience because we're connected to so many different people in the industry, whether it's title people, escrow, attorneys, there's lenders, home warranty, inspectors. There's so many different opportunities to connect with different people. And if we can sit down with them for 3 minutes to 5 minutes and go over some things that are important for the consumer, all of a sudden you become the resource. And when you become the resource, that's where it changes. Right? So think of how you can give this value to the consumer. What can you do to help them? And then mix it up. Mix it up so it's not all business all the time. Like you see here, share your losses. Or share a great video from YouTube that you love. Like I shared this other video I thought was great about an elephant being saved or from the water by some other creature. I don't remember what it was. It was so cute. I was like, oh, I need to share this. Ask your friends to get involved. Send people to your blog. Talk about books that impacted you. All of a sudden, you become more than just a real estate agent and someone people can relate to. That's the difference. Because if you don't do this, then you're not going to stand out. There's no reason to connect with you if you're just like everybody else. If you're just like everybody else going, hey, look what I listed. Hey, look, another open house. Look at my sign. Look at me. People don't want that anymore. Now, going into social media, I hear a lot of people saying, well, you should never pay for your social, ever. Just go organic. And that's one of the biggest mistakes because we're at Facebook almost every quarter and we see the results of what Facebook and Instagram and YouTube do. Organic is great, but a lot of what you see is paid advertising. Sponsored posts get placed into so many different feeds. And you can grow your brand, you can grow you as a brand if you put some money behind it. The difference is you have 2 options here on Facebook. One is you can do the boosting, which is super easy to do. That's more for branding. And you can do lead ads. I think I heard Grant say you guys have Ylopo, and Ylopo offers the Facebook lead ads. That's the other side of it where you can start getting leads, right? So two sides to this. What I always try to have agents remember is that you're a brand. You're your own brand. And if you're not putting money behind a brand, your brand, who's going to see you? Because even all of your friends on Facebook, they're limited as to how many times they see you. Some will never see you. So think about that. Any questions on this as I go on? Oh, good. All right, so let's start with Facebook here. There are 4 different ways that I've outlined here for you for how to use Facebook video specifically. First is the live. Yeah, Facebook's algorithm changed recently, and I'll go over that a little bit. It changed over the last couple months, and they do favor lives a lot more. So the more Facebook lives you do, you can do them from your personal page, or you can do it from your business page. It's fine. And I'm gonna show you something in a little bit. I think right after this, I'll go into my Facebook so I can show you something to do to help you out. I prefer that you alternate and do some lives from your personal page and then your business page. Only because when you do it from your business page, you can also put some money behind it. And that's when you can brand yourself through Boost. Remember, boosting is just for branding. And so when you put $10, $15 behind a video that you ran on your business page, all of a sudden more people see it. And if you want to take advantage of Watch Party is super powerful because what it does is it resends out this live video that you did in your business page or even a recorded video. So let's say you uploaded a listing into your personal and or business page, either one, and you get about 20 views. And you're like, wow, nobody saw it, or not a lot of people saw it. So number one is you want to run a watch party on there. And I'll show you how to do that. I'll go on to Facebook to show you that. You want to run a watch party and a lot more people will see it. They'll jump on almost like they're watching it live because that's what Facebook does. It replays it and it pulls people in automatically. Your friends, people that think they might like it, people that have tuned in the past. It pulls those people in. So that's beneficial. And then the last one, download it. A lot of the things you don't do is you don't repurpose the videos that you used on Facebook for other things like Instagram or YouTube. And if you're doing TikTok, just something to look at. And I'm going to show you here. I'm going to go into my Facebook so I can show you mine. Give me a sec. I'm going to stop this share and I'm going to go into my Facebook so you can see what I'm talking about. There's a couple of other things I want to share with you. Let's jump on here. When I change my screen, I'm going to ask you if you can see it. Almost there. All right. Let me know if you can see my Facebook page. Does it look good? Can't hear. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Thank you. All right. So here we go. Here's my Facebook personal page, right? I just go here, personal page, easy. I can do a couple of things here. This is a video. We just interviewed boxing champion Caleb Plant 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. And it had 1,400 views on it. Now, this is for my personal page. What you can do here is you have a few options. Number one is I already saved the video, but you can edit it from here. So you can re-edit. Let's say you just did this video and you're like, you know what? I don't like the wording because I ended up talking a lot more. I ended up saying a lot more about the property or a lot more about this place or a lot more about the coffee shop that I went to. And I want to explain it here. And that's a good idea. I think you always should go back and edit what you just said. You just re-listen to what you said. And that's really important. Number two is, you see this little green arrow? I can download this video. And this is how I'm going to repurpose it. If you don't have the little green arrow, Some of you don't. Just go to this company right here called savefrom.net, and it allows you to download all these videos onto your desktop. Any video on Facebook, I just do it for me personally, my videos, so that I can cut them up and use them at a later time on Instagram or wherever I want to on YouTube. So you'll see a lot of little bits repurposed everywhere. And then lastly, what I can do here from my personal page, I can share it. And you see all the options here. If you can't see, I'm going to read out the important ones to you. Number one is at the very bottom, it says start watch party. So look what happens when I start a watch party. First, I want to copy the wording here because I want to use the exact same wording on the watch party I'm going to do. Start watch party. You see watch party. It asks me, well, where do you want to share it? Do you want to share it to your timeline? Do you want to share it to a group? Do you want to share it into lab codes? Do you want to share it into a page you manage? Where do you want to share it to? Well, I'm going to share it to my timeline because it was already there. I don't probably want to change it. And then I can add another video. So if this video is maybe 5 minutes long, it's not, it's like 30 minutes long. But if I wanted to have a sequence of videos, maybe a few listings that I have, or maybe I visited a few different places around town and I want people to know the area, I can add other videos here. So all of a sudden it becomes like a little show. Now, if I click go, which I am, it's going to start a watch party.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining.
I'm going to mute it there so you don't have to listen to me again. Now, there's a few things that happen here. Let me close these down. On my personal page, I get a few people that are automatically pulled in. I get more people on lab codes. But you see here, I have 5 people already in automatically that it pulls in. Now, I can start inviting people from here on the right. Everybody that's my friend. So I'm going to do that. The more people I invite, they'll get this out as a notification on their app, and they can jump in. They can choose to watch, or they can just choose to ignore it. And I can comment live, I can do whatever, just like if it's playing. And this allows you to repurpose your content, and a lot of you aren't doing that. So now it's gonna ask me if I wanna close it, which I do. I'm gonna leave, it's still gonna be running in the background. I'm going to go back to Facebook to show you one other thing, the benefits of running it through a business page. Tell me if you can see my screen again. I'm back on Facebook. Can you guys see my screen? I need a yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So here you see there's 4 people watching it right now, like if it's live. Now I'm going to go to my business page to show you why I like running it from my business page better. So let's go to lab codes. You know what? I have a lot of business pages. I'm just going to type in lab code agents. There's a lab code agents business page. It's different than the group. And see, on the business page, you have a lot more options. You can run ads through the backend on Ads Manager. You can boost. I'll show you. There's Ryan. Let's go to one that we just did. No, that's Travis. I think there was another one. All right, this one was a Ylopa one on what they launched yesterday, which was Diva. So I'm going to run this one. This one had 3,200 views. And so here you see the button that says watch together again. It's giving me the option to run a watch party. And that's cool. It also says, well, where do you want to boost this? You want to boost this? And if I wanted to boost it, the options it gives me is, well, you can choose people around the specific city, ages, here are the ages, right? Your ad may not run, that's fine. People who like your page and their friends, that's what I usually choose. And then I hit go. I usually put about $50 behind it for the week, and I'll get another 2,000 views from that. Now, here's a cool thing. I want to just cancel that ad. If I go here and edit this 3 buttons there. I'm going to, hold on, edit the post. It's going to give me some options after it's been recorded. And this is the cool part, what you can do for yourself on these videos. I'm going to now place a new title because it didn't have a title because nobody's done it. I saved it for today. That's my new title. And I can add tags. So real estate. I can leave it at that. And this is the cool part. I go to subtitles and captions, and it says captions added right here. Click it, choose a language. It's English. I click save. You literally give it a few seconds, not even, and it's already captioned the whole thing. So now, because 80% of video is watched without sound, this is fixing that problem for you. Now, it's about 98% accurate. Sometimes it misses a word here or there, but having the captioning over not having the captioning is massive. And you can only do it on the business page. You can only do that on Facebook. YouTube doesn't have it yet. It's not that, it has it, but it's not great. So it's in beta. Instagram doesn't have it. Nobody has it. They're the only ones who have it. So this is why I love running my lives on my business page. So if you don't have a business page, go out and make one. It's incredibly easy, but you need both business pages and you need your personal page as well. Any questions on that? Nope. Good. Go ahead.
I don't do live videos, but I did one the other day at a house for inspection. And I noticed that the quality as I moved around the house was poor. Is there anything I can do about that?
Are you talking about the quality of the video?
Yes. There were areas where it kind of would pause or it would, you know, it would just like.
Yeah. I always. Yeah, there's some things that I would recommend that you do. Number one is you need for your internet to be stable wherever you are in the house. So if it's a house, you need the Wi-Fi to work well throughout the whole house. That's number one. As we get 5G everywhere across the United States in the next 2 years, like real 5G, you're going to have less and less of that problem. So you're going to see that the video is going to be streamed very, very clearly. What you want to do though is on your phone, and I have an iPhone, so I can't help you out on your Android, but I know the Android has the same capability because I had an Android. What you want to do is you want to go to your iPhone and you want to go to your camera. Let me see if I can connect it here because it's super easy. Let me see if I can connect my phone here so you can see it. Let me see if I can connect it through AirPlay. Give me a sec. Okay, choose that, AirPlay. I think I got it. And Zoom. Tell me when you can see my phone.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go into camera. This is, here, I'll start at the beginning. These are the settings, right? If you can't find your camera, just type camera at the top there. There it is. Now, this is how easy it is. It gives you the option that says record video. You see that right there? I'm going to click on it and there are options. It's like, whoa, I can record better quality video than I thought. So I usually stick to, the reason it's already 1080p HD at 30 frames per second is because it's good enough, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. If you want to go all out though, I probably would go there. 4K at 30 frames per second. 4K at 60 frames per second, it looks too real. Have you seen those movies that just look like, whoa, what's going on? It's like, looks like a soap opera. I don't like those. So I usually keep it at 30 frames per second. And if you want to keep it at 1080p HD 60 frames per second, that's okay. But the thing is, when you record, a lot of these are going to be big files, and that's why they kept it there. So, you know, keep it there. Let me stop sharing that. Any questions on that? Good question.
I have a question for you.
Shoot.
I'll walk over here so you can hear me. So let's say that they take you at your word and they do that calendar every single day for the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like is going to happen to their business?
Dude, it's amazing. I've done it before, so I know. I mean, do you see how much I post everywhere? And it's what happens is everyone starts calling. I see you everywhere. How do you have the time to do this? That's the first thing. Are you duplicated? Are you getting help? I'm like, well, yeah, I've leveraged myself at this point, right? But what happens is you start getting more and more business. People call you out of nowhere. They say, hey, Tristan, not only is this going to benefit you locally, what's going to happen is agents from outside of the area are going to say, wow, I'm seeing your stuff everywhere. You know, I have a referral for you because I know you cover this area. We just got a $10 million all cash referral from Malibu from somebody I don't know. It was just out of the blue. They're not even in Lab Coat Agents. They're like, hey, I saw your video and I keep on seeing you everywhere on Instagram. First of all, they go, I love what you're doing on Instagram. Second, can you help me out? My dad is looking to buy out in Malibu. I'm like, yeah, I think I can help you out for 10 million cash. I think I can do it. But yeah, what happens is you start getting business. What I typically go into when we're not talking about video is also focusing on your sphere. What happens is your sphere, they start noticing what you're doing on social and they start connecting with you more. So when you reach out to them, and twice a year we do this with our team, and I'll go through this really quick because it's a side note. Twice a year, we go with our team and I say, okay, guys, I need an updated list of your sphere, 50. Top sphere, people that know you by name and like you, right? That's your sphere. I need you to reach out to them. And in 30 days, I need you to have 30 sit-down meetings for coffee. Some of my team likes beer, so it's beer, right? Beer, coffee, whatever. I try to keep it to coffee because it's less expensive and you can focus more. The ambiance is usually not as loud, right? And you can go in and out if you need to leave. So I say 30 meetups in 30 days, coffee, where you text your sphere and they're like, hey, Grant, it's Tristan. It's been a bit, man. You want to catch up on coffee Tuesday around noon or 5? You have some time? And you're like, yeah, sure. Why not? So I show up for coffee. I pay for your coffee. Unless you're like, no, I'll pay. Then you pay. That's fine. But most of the time I pay. It's $3, $4. And I get a coffee too. We sit down and I say, so what's up, man? I need to catch up. What are you up to? How's your family? I ask questions that dive deeper into how they're doing. And when it comes turn and they say, Tristan, how are you? I'm like, oh man, it's great. Business is good. I'm still in real estate. So if you have anybody, send them my way. But let's get back to you. What have you read any good books lately? I'm looking for a good book. And I'm turning around and always going back to them. Because what happens after, and I've been doing this for years. What happens after is you get a text and you say, wow, Tristan, you know what? That was a great meeting, man. Thank you. And they can't pinpoint what happened, but because you shut up and you listened, instead of just throwing up on them how amazing you are in real estate and how many listings you have and how amazing this is and this is, because you didn't do that, they all of a sudden connected with you deeper. And they're like, there's something about Tristan that was good. And I'll give you a story and then I'll transition over to the next video. A little bit ago, it was like a vice president of some company. Can't name the company because he was let go. Vice president of a company, I sat down and for coffee, because I was doing this on my sphere. And it was coffee in Ventura County, Starbucks, 1 hour. Sat down, we talked, and I didn't say anything. I just said, dude, what's up? And he's like, well, man, my son's graduating college and he graduates in a few months. And I'm like, awesome. what college? He's like, oh, it's local. It's Cal Lutheran in Thousand Oaks. I'm like, oh, that's a good school. He's like, yeah, I went there too. And I'm like, that's awesome. And he's looking for an internship. I'm like, what does he do? Because I'm asking questions. He's like, oh, he's a digital marketer and he wants to go into that whole world. He goes, he's thinking of maybe coming in and shooting some pictures and video for agents. I'm like, ooh, that's a tough world, but I can hook it up. I got a few people that might be looking for somebody to take pictures or video for them. I'm like, what else does he do? Because I'm listening and I want to help. He says, well, you know, he's in that whole world. He doesn't actually know what he wants to do. That's the only thing I could come up with. And I said, okay, well, let me talk to him. He gives me his phone number. I call him on the way back to the office, talk to the kid, and turns out that he has a lot more knowledge than his dad had thought. A lot of digital marketing stuff on social media. So I reach out to Howard Tager, the CEO of Wailopo, that's in Santa Monica. And I go, Howard, do you have a spot, bro? I got this guy who's pretty talented and he's looking for an internship. He's like, who is it? And we both happen to know the vice president guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, dude, send him my way. So I call up the vice president. I go, dude, I think I got a hookup for you. I hooked him up, got the internship. Howard got him the job. The vice president then calls me up. He goes, dude, anything you want, I owe you. And I'm like, that's a pretty powerful ask. But now he's already referred us. This has happened over a year ago, actually. He's already referred us 2 people to our team and 1 referral for purchase. I'm not even asking him anything anymore. When you take care of people and you look to take care of people because you're coming from a point of giving back and you're that resource, guess what happens? Your world changes. And if they keep on seeing you on social, like you're creating this perception of who you are, you're that resource for anything real estate. And guess what? You're also genuine and people can connect with you. Your world blows up. I'm a perfect example of that. When I started Lab Code Agents in 2014 because Realtor.com was taking me around the nation to speak for them on lead conversion, online lead conversion. And I told my wife, hey, this is kind of cool, but I keep on getting the same question over and over. Why don't we start like a blog or something? She's like, start a Facebook group. I'm like, that's a stupid idea. I'm not going to do that. And then I started a Facebook group. And I started giving. I just started giving and giving and giving. And then one of my friends says, hey, look, there's this guy across the nation called Nick Baldwin. He might be a good moderator to help you out. I'm like, okay, I'll bring him on. Brought him on, and then we both kept on posting and giving back with nothing to ask for. And then things just blew up. And this is where we are now, 5 years later. But the perception that you can create for free on social media will change your lives. And this is why I'm talking to you about video right now. Because you have the opportunity to do this for free. It just takes some time. That's why I told you the story at the beginning. It's those little things that you do consistently, repeatedly, that will change the way you work. It changes the way you see things. And so let me go back into, let me see if you can see my screen, because sometimes, tell me if you can see the Facebook screen that has the live watch party business page. Yeah. All right, good. Let me go to the next one then. All right, so here's some updates for video. These are recent, like over the last few weeks that Facebook has changed. Number one, they're focusing really on the people that are watching your things over and over. And that's why I love Watch Party. The more people you invite to them and the more people that get the hook and they watch, the more that Facebook shows to them your posts, your videos, everything. The algorithm loves it. So this is what they mean by loyalty and intent. They also track how long people are watching your videos. And the duration of videos for Facebook is massively important. They want most videos to be 3 minutes long because they want more people to stay on Facebook longer. That's why they created IGTV. They were trying to figure out how to maintain people in one spot longer. And so IGTV hasn't taken off as much, but stories have. They have 500 million stories on Instagram every day. 500 million stories. Those are the videos, the little stories that you see. Some of them are posts. And then originality. Facebook loves unique content. That means not shared content. I'm not telling you not to share other content, but the more content that you create that's original, the more you get rewarded. And that's why they love Facebook Lives, because they know those are original, right? Any questions on this before I go to the next one? Oh, good. All right, Instagram. You've got 4 things here that I wanted you to focus on. 15-second stories. If you're not familiar with stories, I'll show you here on my phone. Let me connect it really quick. And I'll go back to it if you wanted to take a picture of that. I'm just going to share with you my phone so you can see how it works. I'm so glad Zoom allows you to connect your phone. Yeah. It makes it so much easier. All right, that's my phone. Can everybody see it? Good, good. All right, I'm going to go to Instagram. There's Instagram right there. Now, this is, you can see here, this is my Instagram. I just rebooted it. If you want to follow me, it's Tristan.Ahumada. And here you go to the little house on the bottom left. That's your feed. So you see that's everybody that you follow. And at the top over here, the top, those little circles, those are the stories. If you want to watch people's stories, you can click it. There's Sharon. If I tap there, it'll take me to watch a longer video. If I don't do anything, it just circulates through it. I can touch and it'll go to the next one. There's my friend James Wong. He created all of our logos and does a lot of our designs for Lab Code Agents. There's his wife. They're in El Salvador for the week. And I go to the next one. There's her baby. It kind of tells you a story of what they're doing on a day-to-day, maybe hour-to-hour, maybe 4-hour basis, right? Depending on how you do it. And so that's what stories are about. Now you go to the left, you see what I did there? That's your feed. You go to the left and you can post stories. So I could record from here what I'm doing and it'll play. And then I can tag people, or I can put locations or whatever I want here. I can mention hashtag, do whatever, but I'm not going to. The idea behind stories is to take people through your day of what you're doing. So if you were here, you'd go, hey, look, I'm at wherever doing whatever, right? Hey, I'm over here at my son or daughter's game, or hey, I'm shopping, hey, I'm showing property. You're taking people through that whole process of being with you. And Facebook stole that. They call it copied. They copied it from Snapchat. And so remember when I said pay attention to TikTok? There's a lot of things that TikTok is doing very well. Yes, there's a privacy issue with TikTok, but the thing is, if you're paying attention, they're doing other things very well. And so Facebook and Instagram were paying attention to Snapchat, and they stole everything that Snapchat was doing. That's why you have stories. That's why you have other things that Facebook didn't have. And so they figured now they have 500 million stories a day being posted on Instagram. That's a lot. That's a ton. And Facebook and Instagram, that holds the majority of the demographic that's purchasing in the United States. And when you add YouTube, you dominate. Because that's where everybody's at, that can purchase. It just depends on whether or not people will connect with you through your genuineness, through your authenticity, through the things that you're doing. So let me go back to that page so you can take a look. All right, so you've got the 15-second stories. You saw that I showed you. If you pressed on that button, it will record. It'll record for a whole 60 seconds, but in 15-second clips. So I try to keep mine at 15 seconds and it just go throughout the day. Like if you follow me on Tristan.Ahumada, you can see the stories. Yesterday I went to Vegas, so it kind of processed that me going to Vegas and coming back. I had to speak out there. And then live videos. You can also do live videos on Instagram, just like you can on Facebook, which is great. Once you're done with the live videos, they're actually kept in Instagram right next to the stories. So you can alternate between stories and live videos. So what I suggest is this. Let me drink some water and then I'll tell you. I suggest, and I learned this from Seth Godin. If you don't know Seth Godin, Google him. He's a master marketer and world famous author. The guy's amazing. Seth Godin does this. He's recording, he puts up 2 devices and he's recording his Facebook Live and his Instagram Live. And he takes it up a level. He's also doing LinkedIn. I only do Instagram and Facebook. But he's recording both at the same time live. So he's taking advantage of that. So if you're at a listing, if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you do a 3 to 4 minute video that's live. And now you can post it into IGTV. You can download it, post it up on YouTube. You can repurpose it, but you took care of Instagram and Facebook at the same time. IGTV is very similar to YouTube. And although they can now do horizontal videos as well, originally they were vertical videos and they still look better vertical. What can you do? Max is 60 minutes. Minimum is a minute. So think of YouTube, that's IGTV for Instagram. And then if you want to go ahead and post into your actual feed, that the things that you normally see, they're not stories, it's not on IGTV, just the regular feed on Instagram. The maximum for a video is a minute. And you know, I'm going to go back to show you exactly how I would want you to do it here because this is important. I'm going to have to share my screen again. Go here, give me a sec. All right. There it is. All right, so here's my feed, right? But look, there's me. This is all my stuff. You see this video right here? That was me doing something very similar to what I'm doing right now with you, but I recorded the side of it and I took a minute of it. And if you go down, there's some other ones that I've done. That's the coffee shop that I talked to you about. It's Ragamuffin. But you can see all of a sudden I created content one time, and I'm repurposing it in small sections, right? This is my influencer one. I also have, let me see if this is the right phone so I can show you how business one looks. So this is my real estate one. These are the properties we visited, and I alternate between properties and quotes. But you can see I do the exact same thing for business on both ends. Any questions on that? It's clear, right? You just have to start repurposing a lot of what you do. Just think ahead. Let me go over to the Instagram page really quick. Here we go. This was a stat that surprised me. The 500 million people using stories daily, that motivated me to be like, whoa, I need to go on stories more. I wasn't doing stories as of like 6 months ago, not as many. And now I'm all about stories. Because if you look at the stories, if you look at how many people see stories versus how many people see your feed and click like, there's a lot more people seeing your stories, a lot more. There was one story I did last week when I got to go to the Oscars. I was on the rooftop of a helipad and I tagged the Dolby Theater, and the Dolby Theater then used it and said, oh, cool, we're going to put this on our feed. And because of that, I got even more views. So use the tag feature. If you're at a place if you're at a food place, if you're at the mall, if you're at Nike store, if you're at a store that has a name, tag them. Sometimes they use it in their feed and it gives you another push, right? But 1 billion monthly active users worldwide, that's insane. For us, this number is important because I live in an area where we get a lot of people from outside of Malibu, outside of Westlake Village, outside of Calabasas that want to move here, outside of the United States. And so we have people from Canada, we have people from London, we have people from Mexico, Spain, France, Germany that want to move here. And so these numbers are important to me because I can go onto Instagram and target these people. And I might have a slide that shows you how to do that. Let me make sure. I showed you that. I showed you that's my page for my business for real estate, right? You can see this one. We got to show Elon Musk's house in Brentwood. And so I took a picture of it and I posted it and I got a lot of love, but I hashtagged a lot of it. So you can see, alternate it, make it look really nice. And this is, you saw my personal influencer site, right? I mix it up a little bit. I suggest that you just have one, stick to one, but because we have two different businesses, I have two for two different businesses, right? And it just gives you an idea of what to do, the possibilities. Here are the things that we use for video and Instagram, just to be able to edit some of these things. So you might want to take a picture of this and I'll explain to you what they are. Canva, obviously, if you haven't used Canva, it's the most popular place to go to edit pictures and create really great graphics for your business. LCA Marketing Center, it's specifically for real estate. If you haven't taken a look at it, it's really, really beautiful. It's the Canva for real estate specifically. I'll take a look at them. It's lcamarketingcenter.com. The next one over here, I use a Mac. So this is Final Cut Pro. And so this is where I would edit a lot of my longer videos. I'm just telling you, just in case you want to edit, editing sucks. If you could hire somebody to do it for you, do it. Don't do it yourself. Now, this is really important to me because like I showed you on Facebook, if you go to your business page, you click on the little dot, the little three dots, it'll give you an option to edit and then change it so that you can add captioning. Well, Facebook has that. The other ones don't. So what we do is we send some of our videos to Rev, R-E-V. And with Rev, they caption your videos for a little bit over $1 a minute. So let's say you just did a 3-minute video and you want the captioning. Well, Rev will do it for like $3.30 for the whole video. And they'll send you the file and then you can piece it together. And now all of a sudden your video has captioning. It's a beautiful thing. And Vemly, I love Vemly because it pretty much does what Rev does if the video is under a minute. It'll caption it for you. And it's pretty accurate. It's like 90, not as accurate as Facebook, so it's like 96% accurate. You might have to change some words here and there. But you saw those videos I did, that video I showed you on Instagram with the heading. I think I have the next page. Let me show this one, kind of like this. I did this on Vemly. So you can put the wording at the top, the video in the middle, and then you can even have this little bar at the bottom that tells people how long the video is and it keeps on going, kind of like the Gary Vee style. Well, Vemly does that. And there's a paid version. I'd do it, pay monthly for it. It's worth it if you're gonna use it. And then Over. Over is Canva, practically Canva, but on an app. If you've ever used Canva on your phone, you know it sucks badly. And that's why we use Over on the phone. Over is very, very easy to use on the phone. I switch between Over and Vemly. Those are the ones I use the most all day, every time. And so that's why I put them up here. Any questions on these? Going once, going twice? No, good. All right. And I showed you this one. Now here, I'm going to show you boosting for engagement. Remember, boosting is more for your brand, right? It's not to get business from. Eventually you will get business from it because it'll be a lot easier when you show up. Let's say I showed up to Grant's house because he said, oh, Tristan, I saw your video, man. I'm going to interview agents. Can you come over and see what you've got to offer? I'm like, right, yeah, we'll go. That opened up the door for that, right? That's what I'm talking about. People will recognize you more. You want to be what I tell everybody. You want to be that niche celebrity in your area. So when you show up to the supermarket, people know you. People know you at your coffee shop. People know you everywhere else, locally. And how you do that on Instagram? So easy. on Instagram. Here on it, let me see if I can do it live, actually, because it's so easy. I'm going to just show you from my phone. How much time we got, Grant?
We're running low.
What do we got, 10 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, I'll show you this, and then I'll go to YouTube. This is important only because people underestimate the ease of using Instagram, and it's so easy. All right, here we go. I'm on Instagram. Let's say I want to, let's see here. No, not that one. Let's go over here. Maybe this one. All right. Let's say I want to do this one. I've already promoted it one time, but if you have it, you need to be on your business page first of all. That's number one. You need to have a business page. If you don't know how to do that, you go to. I'll go over here because this one wasn't a business page. You go to the three. I call it the sandwich bar, the top right. Click on the sandwich bar. Click on the settings. So sandwich bar settings. Right? Go to account. And you see at the bottom, it says switch to professional account. And then it gives you a choice. What do you want to do? Creator, business. I usually go for business. Pretty easy. Done. Which Facebook account do you want to connect it to? Because it's going to feed off of it, that credit card. And so I'm going to connect it to that one. And you can change it back if you decide not to. You can change it back in a minute. Back and forth all day long. It's saying, hey, is this the number? This is information to correct? You want to add a business address? No, I don't. Now, done. Now what I can go here and I can promote. Click promote. Who do I want to promote it to? Well, what will they see? Visit my profile. Sure, let's do my profile. Should I do it automatically, meaning everyone that likes my stuff already and their friends? Sure. What's the budget? Default $30 over 6 days. That sounds good. Now, it says I may not reach your audience because the image, there's too much text on the image, right? But if it was correct, like a video, I'd click create promotion. That's how easy it is. It's done. Just 5 simple steps. That's extremely easy and underused by so many people. So let me go back here so I can wrap this up for you, buddy. Let me go. Perfect. All right, so you saw that. That's what I took you through. And let's go to YouTube. So here, YouTube is for teaching. You can see YouTube is the #2 most visited website in the world. Number 1 is Google. Number 2 is YouTube, and Google owns YouTube. And so the way that people use YouTube is kids specifically. They're using it to learn. And you have all ages using YouTube, from ages 5 to 100. That's the cool thing about YouTube, that the demographics are so spread out. No matter who's using it, they're using it. And you saw it has 200 million American users. So it's all about teaching. Your video should be a little bit longer than 3 minutes. That's important. Creating graphics, you can use Canva to do that. This way, the graphics look really nice. Here, I'll show you on the next one because I know we're speeding. I think I got like a minute left. But you see what we've done with Lab Code Agents? We have our virtual assistant create these graphics for every single webinar that we do in Lab Codes. And so it's a little bit more eye-catching, it pops. And then title is important. So you see the title here, they put the titles. Very, very important. And then lastly, the body. It's great for the SEO. So you see here, these are the section of the bodies. It even outlines what the best seconds or minutes are. That's how you use YouTube. Now here are some best practices before we wrap up. You want to include your brand early. Facebook told us something that was really, really important. That was like, you have 3 seconds to engage the people watching or scrolling. 3 seconds. That's it. So if your video isn't great enough, you know, you're not doing something that's different, you're not standing in front of something that's an amazing background, or you're doing something that can catch people's eyes, or explaining to them what this is that they're going to listen to quickly, you're going to lose them. Right, capture their attention. And remember, this is all designed to be looked at with sound off, because most people looking at social media are at school, they're at work, they're watching or consuming this in a place where they can't have sound on. So include captioning. Facebook likes 15-second videos for promotions. They love that. And they also love videos that are 3 minutes longer. And so does YouTube. Lastly, I'll tell you a minute story. So this past week, when I met with this multimillionaire in the morning, I also had the chance to meet a multimillionaire in the evening, which was all by chance. Like I said, I didn't want to go to these. This other guy I had to meet in Hollywood, and I had to have dinner with a group. And I happened to sit next to he's a hotelier. So he purchases hotels, sells them, has large influence around the world. And I'm sitting with my wife to my left and this guy to my right. And we start talking. He tells me all about what he's doing. And I'm always treating it the same. I just shut up and listen. And I ask questions. That's what I do. Shut up and listen and ask questions. And so I start talking to him. He's like, yeah. Well, quickly I find out that this guy's a multimillionaire. And I want to know how he got there. And he tells me a story. He's like, well, he goes, Tristan, that's a good question. Because sometimes you just have to let go. My question was, do you think that just things happen sometimes for a reason? Or do you think it's more of you're in the right place at the right time? He goes, let me tell you a story. I was a manager, one of the managers in a hotel in Hawaii. And there's like 5 of us, 5 different managers. And I'm the lowest manager. I'm young, I'm in my 20s. And it's an open area where I'm at. I'm in charge of the food and beverage. And I have these people sitting in here with lots of tables that are open to the space. And I'm walking by a couple, and the couple's sitting there, and a bird flies over, like literally 5 feet over this guy's head, and drops a piece of crap on the guy's head. He shits on the guy's head, right? And the guy's bald, and the guy's about to pick up his hand to clean it, and this guy, the hotelier, is passing by at the right time, the manager. He goes, hey, so sir, don't touch you don't want to touch your head. So he grabs a napkin, wipes it off, right? Smiles. The wife and the husband laugh. They all laugh for like 30 seconds, right? What are the chances? He says. So goes, leaves. An hour later, this bald gentleman who got shitted on, he goes and gets the main manager for the hotel and says, hey, that guy over there, who is it? Bring him over here. Brings him over, and he goes, look, young man, I was really impressed by the way that you handled that. And goes on to tell him that he's a multi-billionaire, and he's going to open a hotel in Europe. And he wants him to help him open it along with the main manager. He says, I'm in. Opens it, and that changes his whole world because he took that one chance. He says sometimes opportunities happen. The universe is kicking you in the face with these opportunities, and we're just like too scared to take them. So what opportunities are kicking you in the face right now? Thanks for listening, everyone.
Awesome, bro. We loved it. We're going to jump on to the next piece, but thank you.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys.
Bye.